of the 26th. This building is rented out, so we can't meet that day here. But someone else brought it to my attention, I think it was you brought it to my attention last week, that I screwed up anyway on the dates. So where it says 12/26, I missed the 19th. If you just cross off 12/26 and make it 12/19, the syllabus is then correct. So good news all the way around. So that's where we're at. Tonight we're going to watch a video on Chris Ann Hall. It's only about an hour long. She really kind of explains the history that was happening during the time of the 5 genealogical documents that our founding fathers used, and actually plagiarized some of it for the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. It was Patrick Henry that said, "I have but one lamp to guide my path, and that's the lamp of experience. I know no way to judge the future but by the past." And that's really important. And this is why history is so important and civics are so important in school. But the problem is with John Dewey Model of Public School, when we get into the bounty payments for cod fisheries debate of 1792 and Federalist 24, we're going to see that Madison warns us that he said, if you go down that rabbit hole, basically, he said they will put schools in every county and parish, and they will pull money from the general treasury to indoctrinate your children. Welcome to the future. He predicted it right on the nose. We were never supposed to have a national education organization or a state organizational system. The education was supposed to be the family. Education was supposed to happen in the home. Or 4 or 5 families could get together and put a building up, and those 4 or 5 families were dependent on keeping that building, the upkeep and keeping it there and getting a teacher, and usually the parents would trade time to go in and teach, or they could find a school marm and hire her to do it. But the parents themselves determined the education, determined the curriculum. And our grandfather, he only had an 8th grade education. But one thing I learned from him is if you know math and you know basic science and you can read the English language and you can write the English language and you can speak the English language properly, the rest of the world is yours. Anything else you want to learn, especially we live in the 21st century, or anything you want to learn, you can learn if you want to. I get this all the time. I started a group called the Hillsdale Justice Project. We help people understand what their rights are, because we found most people that get tied up into the criminal justice system get there simply because they didn't know their rights. And so we started that off, just teaching people what their rights were so that they could navigate this legal system. It's not a justice system, it's a legal system that we have now. And it's amazing. I would have people call me and go, this situation happened, what do I do? I'd Google it, I'd read it to them, and they'd go, you're brilliant. No, you're lazy. We've become a very lazy society. Anybody can be brilliant. Remember when you used to have to go get the encyclopedia? You'd have to get 4 or 5 of the volumes. You'd have to open it up and actually read a bunch of stuff and flip through papers and then handwrite a report and then go type it. Remember that? Lord, if we had to do that today, most people would die. I don't get it. And it's so easy for people to get information, and yet they want to call someone and have someone tell them what the answer is. Right? We go somewhere to have somebody tell us what to believe. We go somewhere to have somebody tell us what to think. We go to the mainstream media, have people tell us what to feel. Stop it. Make your own decisions. Think for yourselves. Critical thinking. we all have genius in us. We all do. And just like we all have the propensity for good and evil in us. And so the only thing that keeps evil at bay is morality. And it was John Adams that said, our Constitution is only good, only works for a religious and moral country. He said it's wholly inadequate for any other. And the more we lose our morality, the farther away from the Constitution we slip, because the Constitution doesn't work for an immoral, unreligious country, period. So, after tonight's video, we're gonna go into all 5 of those genealogical documents, and we're gonna read them word for ourselves, and we're gonna critically think about it. So, before we start class, if I can ask everybody to stand, we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance, and then I'll ask everybody to sit, and we'll take a moment of silence.